That line of patrol cars seemed to stretch forever. They were up and down Highway 61 here. All of this ground right here around 3 p.m. today, it too was covered in water. In fact, the water went all the way up to this trailer. And police say they actually followed the women from Walmart all the way to this McDonald's parking lot. And when their pickup lines failed a second time, fired at them, put her in the back of a patrol car, and then transported her here to the Holly Springs Police Department. Now, we don't know what happened during that car journey, in part because the source says the officer never turned on his body camera. Across the nation now, freezing rain, heavy snowfall, and drastic temperature drops. More than 40 million people from North Carolina to Maine are under some sort of winter weather advisory. Take a look at what those winds did to this sign, just lifting it right off its base here in the sand. Also whipping across this home, knocking the siding clean off and dumping it in a nearby field. And then take a look at all of the rain it dumped on this road. Now, both of those people you mentioned, Troy, are in critical condition right now at a hospital in Bartlett. It happened here around 6 o'clock yesterday, right down the street from the Peabody Hotel and right outside the Corner Bar.
Very unsettling details about this.
Very bizarre, very unsettling, and those men, Stephanie, rejected not once, but twice. Police say they actually followed the women from Walmart all the way to this McDonald's parking lot, and when their pickup lines failed a second time, fired at them. The folks at this donut shop across the street heard that gunshot and saw all of the chaos that followed. At Howard's, there's a donut to satisfy virtually every craving.
We stay pretty busy here. You know, we have the best donuts.
But Pat Gibson says it wasn't the glazed or even the cream-filled that brought the cops out last Thursday.
The police come over here and asked us, did we hear anything? We heard one shot.
A single shot aimed at two women driving in the McDonald's parking lot across the street. West Memphis police say the bullet actually took out one of their tires.
The two girls jumped out of it, a blonde-headed girl and another one, and they was jumping around trying to stop the police.
Longtime customer Mike Ryan says the victims flagged down officers themselves, and once they did, they had quite the story to tell.
We had heard that it started all at Walmart.
It was there, police say, that two men approached the women and started making advances. When the women rejected them, police say the men followed them to McDonald's and tried again. When the answer was still no, police say the man in the passenger seat fired at the women's car.
There's just some crazy people out here. I mean, to get rejected and then want to shoot at somebody, that's crazy.
As crazy as it sounds, some say crazy is just the new normal in West Memphis.
Well, it happens every day around here. I mean, it's just one of them things here lately.
A dangerous trend the folks at Howard's hope their fellow citizens reject. Small doesn't even begin to describe the town of Sunset. Fewer than 200 people and only 4 city employees.
A town this small, it's like running a small business.
But for such a small operation, Erica Parker says she took office as the new town recorder January 1st to find the books for a maze of mismanagement and questionable spending.
It just takes a little common sense and a little know-how. And it's just like common sense went out the window and nobody knew how.
Reimbursement checks, tens of thousands of dollars paid out to the former mayor or people close to him. Some, Parker says, without receipts for the reimbursable items. Parker says the record keeping was so bad that in April of last year, the town was told it would no longer receive state funding because it wasn't complying with state accounting laws.
It is a good little portion of our budget each month.
Here's an example of the kind of things Parker says raised red flags. In March, records show more than $23,000 was transferred from the city's water fund and moved to the general fund. That same day, the city wrote then Mayor Eddie Craig III this check for $5,600.
A check for $5,600 and no receipt, but it's reimbursement for lawn equipment that we don't have.
In 2018, the mayor was reimbursed a total of more than $21,000. 10 of his friends and family members, including his girlfriend, parents, and cousins, got another $65,000. You're the mayor, the buck stops with you. Reached by phone, the former mayor declined our request for an interview, but says the town's financial woes predate his time in office, which began in 2015. He also defended having his family work for him. We had no luck finding the former town recorder who signed off on all the spending, but if the books aren't cleaned up soon, the sun really could set on Sunset. The victim's friend was able to briefly capture the truck on video as it was driving away. We'll show you that in just a second. But first, it appears this same man tried to kidnap the same girl not long ago on, of all days, her birthday. A traumatic trip home from school for a 16-year-old girl Friday afternoon.
she came in the house and she was crying and stuff. And I said, what's wrong?
14-year-old Jasmine Riley says her friend had just gotten off the bus with her at Ketchum and Pecan Circle around 3:45. Minutes after they went their separate ways, she says this white truck approached her friend and a familiar man got out.
He pulled up on the side of her and said, do you remember me? Then he got out and said, and grabbed her on the waist and said, come here.
Riley says the same man tried to kidnap her friend back in December, but she never reported it to police. This time, police say she managed to get away by kicking and screaming, then ran to a neighbor's house.
Miss Sally, this man, the same man that was after me, I fought him off of me, and she was just crying.
It was still light out, so the victim got a good look at her would-be abductor. She describes him as an African-American man, tall, muscular, and bald, and says he was wearing a neon green work vest with a white t-shirt and blue jeans. Apparently, there were others who saw him too.
Some lady down there seen it in the apartment.
Didn't do anything?
Didn't do nothing.
What Riley hopes you will do, keep an eye out for this truck with writing on the side and an extended camper on the back.
If something like that was to happen to my daughter, God knows. Only God knows what I'm going to do.
Until something's done, there's no telling how the next trip home could end.
I walk the same way she walking. I don't know if he gonna pull up on me one day and say, come here, do this and do that. And I'm smaller than her, so I might not be able to fight him as she did.
Just terrifying to think about. Now, as always, if you recognize that man or the truck he was driving, give Crime Stoppers a call at 528-CASH. We're told the victim did not suffer any injuries. We're live downtown. Luke Jones, WREG News Channel 3. We did find that at least one of those officers has been involved in 4 different crashes during his 5 years with the department, and 3 times was ordered to take remedial driving courses. A Memphis police officer seen in cell phone video November 29th beating a man on a downtown street, while another officer and 2 security guards look on. It's not clear which officer is throwing the punches, but newly released internal MPD files show one of them, Eric Thomas, has been cited multiple times during his 5 years with MPD for crashing his patrol car. Last year, he crashed into a concrete post while driving through a parking garage. In 2015, he hit a light pole while patrolling downtown. In both cases, he was ordered to take remedial driving classes and was suspended without pay. In 2014, he was cited for rear-ending a pregnant driver as he tried to pull her over in North Memphis. A month later, he was cited again when he drove through a red light at this intersection, hitting a MATA van and a Shelby County Schools vehicle and sending everyone involved to the hospital. He says he was responding to a call for backup, but his supervisors say his emergency equipment wasn't on. They told him the crash taught him that he should, quote, always stop and look before crossing intersections. He was suspended without pay for 10 days and got 2 days enhanced remedial driver training. But after this video surfaced, the brother of the man on the ground wants Thomas and the other officer fired.
Every officer that was standing on the scene should not be wearing their uniform from today on out.
The other officer in this video is Michael Tippett. He's been on the force 10 years. In 2017, he was suspended for 2 days without pay after his supervisor said he failed to search a woman he arrested, and it turned out she had a knife in her waistband. He also got a written reprimand in 2009 for allowing a suspect to slip out of his handcuffs and escape from the back of a squad car. And an update tonight, MPD says its internal investigation into the 2 officers in that cell phone video is ongoing. Criminal charges, meanwhile, still pending against the man you see on the ground for aggressive panhandling and assault. We're live downtown tonight. Luke Jones, WREG News Channel 3.